I am Maya Collins, 21, a psychology student who keeps things neat so they will not fall apart. Tonight I am in the backyard. It is raining a little. I am saying goodbye to Clover. Clover is my dog, my friend. The gift my mother put in my arms when she knew she was leaving. She said he would stay so I would not be alone. He did. He learned my footsteps. He slept by my door. He made the house feel safe. Until it did not. My father is here. Daniel. He tries to make everything calm. Even when calm is not the truth. He keeps saying it was an accident. He wants me to nod and let the day end. Vanessa is here. My stepmother. She holds his arm like she belongs there and speaks in gentle lines. In front of him she is warm. A perfect picture. When he looks away, the picture changes. Brooke is here, my stepsister. She stands under the eaves with her phone and that small, tight smile. At school she is friendly. At home she is different. Quick with little digs. Quick to watch. I tell myself to focus on simple facts. Clover is gone. I was not here. The story they offer is neat. But my eyes keep catching on things that do not fit. There is a streak of water from the kitchen to the step, as if someone pushed it with a towel. There is bleach in the air, too clean for rain. Clover's stainless bowl sits far from the door. Wrong spot, wrong angle. A neighbor said she heard a brake bite the street near dinner. These are small pieces, but they do not feel small to me. I lower the blanket. I touch his little bone-shaped collar and my hand shakes. I want to say many things. I manage I am sorry, I manage thank you. I manage I will not let this disappear. Daniel tries a sentence and stops halfway. Vanessa finishes it for him. Streets are fast, hearts are soft. You should rest. Brooke glances up at me, then down at her screen. I look at all of them and feel a quiet I do not trust. I start to cover the blanket. It is a simple motion, dirt over cloth. A task to keep my hands busy. I think about my mother's voice. I think about the day she said Clover would keep me company. I think about the promise inside that gift. Vanessa steps close to offer a tissue. She does not leave. She leans in, too close, like she is going to pray. Her mouth finds my ear. Her voice drops. I threw it into the street, and no one will believe you. The words land clean. No drama, no raise of tone. Just a fact, as she wants it. I do not answer. I do not turn. I put another line of earth where it needs to go, and let the sentence sit in my chest until it hardens. Daniel does not hear. He thanks her for being strong. Brooke watches me like I am about to break. I do not break. I breathe, slow, steady, while the shape of the day changes. I look back at the kitchen door. The streak is still there. The bowl is still in the wrong place. The smell is still too sharp. The neighbor's words still echo. I add Vanessa's sentence to the pile. The pile looks like a truth that is not finished speaking. I think about what has been happening in this house. The little cuts that were easy to excuse, the slammed doors, the mean jokes brushed off as jokes, the way they speak sweet in front of my father, and sour when he leaves the room. I can line it all up now. I can see how it brought me here. I smooth the mound with my palm. I whisper to Clover that I was late for him, but I will not be late for the truth. My voice is low. It belongs to me. It is not asking for permission. I look at Daniel again. He is tired. He wants a story that lets him sleep. He has chosen one. I look at Vanessa. Her eyes are bright in a way I recognize. I look at Brooke. She looks back the way people look at a screen that might crack. I feel alone, and not alone. Alone because the house will be quiet. Not alone because grief sits beside me and will not move. I am not ready to argue. Not here. Not over this ground. I keep my words for later, when words can hold weight. For now, I hold a vow. I lift my face to the rain. I let it cool my eyes and settle my hands. I let the moment be simple. I do not dress it up. I do not make it smaller for anyone. Tonight I bury my friend. Tomorrow I turn on the light. That is the line that stands. It is not a speech. It is a direction. It points where I am going. It tells me who I am in this house, in this family, in this story. I pick up the shovel and lean it by the fence. I press my muddy palm against my chest as if to pin the promise in place. Daniel turns for the door. Vanessa tightens her hold on his arm. Brooke stays where she is and lifts her phone like she is checking the weather, or checking me. I do not say more. I do not explain. I let the scene end on my terms, not theirs. I am Maya Collins. Lover is my dog. My mother gave him to me so I would not be alone. I am not alone. I have what I need, my name, my memory, and a light I will switch on. Tonight I bury my friend. Tomorrow I turn on the light. I look back and tell it straight. Not pretty, not soft. I want the truth to stand on its own 2 feet. It started small, a sparkle under my bedroom rug. Then my heel found it. A cut, a towel. I told myself a mirror had cracked. By accident. Brooke laughed in the hallway and kept walking. I cleaned the floor. I smiled so no one would ask. Then the dress, white, ready for my presentation. By morning it was washed with pale pink that would not come out. Vanessa held it up, sighed, said she was clumsy. The washer bled. I said it was fine. I wore something that did not fit the day. My grade did not fit either. I swallowed it. On my phone, a group chat I never joined. A photo of me after my mother's memorial. Puffy eyes, stickers. The caption called me the daughter of the past. I put the phone face down. I wiped a table that was already clean. Later, Brooke asked if I had seen anything funny online. I said no. She smiled like she owned the punchline. In front of my father, Vanessa was warm tea and careful words. She praised my patience. She called me brave. When doors were almost closed, her tone changed. Do not bring the habits of your mother's house in here. I heard it. I filed it under tired day. Stress. Maybe I am too sensitive. I learned to move quietly. It felt like maturity. It was survival. Clover learned my quiet too. He hated slammed doors, so doors were slammed. His stainless bowl skittered across the tile with a bright clang. I told myself it was a draft. Houses breathe. Brooke pushed the vacuum near his face until his fur stood up. Just teaching him what noise is, she said. I rubbed between his eyes until he blinked again. I told myself it was a joke that missed. Red dust showed up in his food. A sour sting on his nose. He sneezed and backed away. Vanessa tapped the bowl with a spoon. A little discipline is good for the palate. I threw it out. I started over. I wanted to believe I had bought the wrong brand. I wanted the world to be a series of misunderstandings that wash away. Sometimes the gate stood open just enough to argue innocence. Leaves brushed a thin line across the path. Go on then, Brooke whispered. Clover took one step and stopped. He looked back at the door like he could keep it honest by watching. I closed the gate. People forget, I said to myself. We are all tired. We are all human. Something small in me winced. Small things kept piling up. A towel missing after his bath. The leash hung too high to reach. My name said with the wrong temperature. Nothing big enough for police. Big enough to live under my skin. At night I heard the house talk. A door not quite shut. A seam of light. Voices in the gap. Kick the dog out first. Then kick her out. The house will be ours. A quick laugh. A shush like a game. I stood with a glass of water and called it a joke. Jokes are easier to file than threats. I went back to bed and watched the ceiling pretend to be a sky. Through all of it, Clover kept putting his head on my knee. He blinked slow. I breathed slow. For a while, that was enough. Then the day that would not sit quietly. A wet streak from the sink to the step. Pushed, not spilled. His bowl too far from the door. Wrong spot, wrong angle. A neighbor said she heard a hard break at dinner time. Later, rain, a burial, and a mouth at my ear. I threw it into the street. And no one will believe you. Sadness did not leave. It changed shape. It grew edges. It stood up. My hands shook, then steadied. My voice stayed low and stopped being soft. Something in me pulled out the chair and took its place at the table. I see myself now, turning thorns into pillows so I could sleep without moving rooms. I kept asking the truth to wait its turn because peace felt like oxygen. It was not peace. It was quiet I paid for, every day, with small pieces of myself. It made others comfortable while I did the math in my chest. After the burial, the house was not peaceful. It echoed. My coat held the smell of rain and something too clean. My knees remembered the ground. My palms remembered metal. My breath changed. Not calmer, just decided. I did not reach for music. I did not rewrite excuses that would dissolve by morning. I put both hands on the desk and felt the wood steady me. I opened my notebook. No steps, no map, just a name for what I was about to become. Operation Lantern. It was not a plan. It was permission. A room stopped circling. Points to a door. I clicked the pen shut. The sound was small and final. Grief sat beside me and said nothing. Anger stood by the threshold and waited. I stayed very still, awake. Here is what awake means to me now. I will stop calling cruelty a misunderstanding. I will stop protecting lies with my silence. I will protect what trusts me. I will turn on the light. I will make them show themselves. The words, the hands, the pattern. I will collect what the room does when it thinks I am not there. I will hold proof that does not blink. For my father who wants calm more than truth. For anyone who ever said accident because it was easier. For Clover, who kept his promise to stay until he could not. I will expose Vanessa and Brooke. I will make their faces speak for their mouths. I will let time mark every second of it. And when it is done, I will not ask to be believed. I will lay the evidence down and say, this is what happened. This is who they are. This is for my dog. I say my goal first. Simple, clear. I will make them show themselves. Words and hands, tied to time. No staging, no pushing. A few days after the burial, I go to the shelter. I choose a calm dog with steady eyes. His name is Nala. He leans into my palm, trusts fast. I promise to keep him safe. Out loud, so I hear it too. We go home. He learns the kitchen, the back hall, the bed under the table. He is company, not bait. I fit him with a collar that looks ordinary. Inside it sees and hears. A small lens, a quiet mic, a clean timestamp in the corner. I pair it to my phone. I match the clock with the porch camera, second by second. I turn on auto upload to the cloud. Sound plus motion. Send at once. No waiting, no gaps. Each night I copy the files to a USB and seal it in a tin box, 2 copies, 1 truth. I mount a porch cam high. It watches the back door, the step, the gate. 1 angle is a story. 2 angles are the truth. I clap once under the eave, test the sync. The timestamps match. Good. I ring my neighbor's bell. I keep it short. A loss. Strange noises at dinner. If anything happens, may I request her doorbell clip? She nods. She gives me a way to ask. Outside can confirm what inside does. I place the objects that remember. Clover's old bowl sits on the counter, where the eye lands. Nala's stainless bowl sits on the tile. Any shove will ring a hard clang. My dish towel hangs on the chair. The smallest excuse to spit at the owner. No tricks. Just the room laid out so habits talk. I test quietly. I whisper near the counter, near the door, near the hallway seam. Playback is clear. I tap the steel rim once. Clang. Bright and sharp. Both cameras hear it. Both clocks agree. An upload alert lights my phone a second later. Good. The pipeline breathes. I write my rules, and I mean them. I will not cause harm. I will not steer Nala toward risk. If alerts stack fast, I come home. If harm begins, I come home. Nala first, always. The plan ends the moment safety is at risk. I choose the windows on purpose. Early afternoon, late afternoon, when Vanessa and Brooke usually own the house. My alibis are clean, class, library, groceries. Receipts and location history can speak, if needed. I do not need a speech. I need a clock. Before I leave, I send 1 neutral text. I left Clover's bowl on the counter. Polite, plain, enough to rub the nerve they already have, without baiting. I walk Nala through the space 1 more time. Water here, bed here, quiet corner here. He drinks, he settles, he watches my hands, and then the door. I kneel, forehead to forehead. We will go slow, I tell him. We will be careful. We will not make anything happen. We will only record what happens. I do a quick checklist. Out loud, collar, green, porch cam, steady, cloud connected, phone alerts, on, USB, ready for tonight. Clover's bowl, on the counter, steel bowl, on the tile, notebook, open to the log page. I open the log and write today's windows. Targets, only if they appear by themselves. The opening clang, the insult that passes through my dog. You smell as filthy as your owner. The push to expel, kick the dog out, then kick her out. The house will be ours. The slip about the past. Last time and the quick cover. Don't say throw here. Words and actions, pinned to timestamps. I set the house to quiet. No music, no TV, silence makes words stand up. I put on my coat. I touch the collar once, a circle of warm fur under my fingers. Then let go. This is not a fight. This is a record. I close the back door, a soft click. Cool air on the porch. I step down to the path. My phone nudges my palm, once. The cloud icon wakes, pulsing, steady, steady. Through the window, I see the tiny red light on the camera blink alive. I keep walking. I do not look back. The system is live. If they speak, if they act, the record will hold. I reach the gate and check my watch against the app. Times match. I write the minute in the log. I breathe, slow, even. I picture the room as it is now. Counter with the old bowl, tile with the steel bowl, chair with my towel, a simple space, nothing staged, only choices. If nothing happens today, I will repeat the window. If still nothing, I will shift it by one class period. Always within the rules, always safe. This is patient work, layer by layer. Low level first, words, pushes, doors. Enough to build a base that no one can dismiss. I send myself one last reminder, Nala first. I keep the car keys loose in my pocket. If the alerts stack, I go back. If I hear the tone I set for the caller, I go back. No proof is worth a wound. I tuck the notebook away and start toward campus. Steps even, phone in my hand, screen dim, ready. The city noise hums. I pass the mailbox. I pass the hedge. I tell myself the same line I told at the grave. Turn on the light. My phone blinks again. A tiny pulse in the corner. Upload started. I do not rush. I keep walking. Let the system work. I cross the street and feel the buzz a second time. Steady, steady. I open the app, see the live status, caller sending, porch cam receiving, timestamps aligned. I close the screen. I breathe. This is the plan. Simple, sharp, enough. And when it is time to bring it forward, I will not argue. I will press play. I will point to the clock in the corner. I will let their words and hands speak for them. For my father, who needs proof. For me, Ball, who needs air. For Clover, who kept his promise as long as he could. For Nala, who trusts me now. I take one more step. Behind me, the camera light keeps blinking, patient, precise. The cloud icon on my phone pulses again. Steady, steady, steady. I keep walking. The house will speak. The record will hold. I close the door behind me. The tiny light on the upload still blinks. I leave the frame. The truth stays. Today, I collect the first layer, the low things, the small pushes and dirty words. With time stamped in the corner, I walk to the sidewalk and keep my pace even. My phone hums once. Upload started. Do not rush. Let the system work. I open my notebook in my mind and write the hour. Where I am on my way to class. Alibi set. Another buzz. I glance down. The first recording opens from the collar. Kitchen tile. Table leg. Then Brooke crosses the frame. Her foot clips the stainless bowl and it jumps against the cabinet with a hard clang. Water runs in a fan. Out, she says. Short, sharp. The corner shows the time. I breathe and write it into my log. First event. Kitchen. Clang. A second alert. I press play. Vanessa stands in the doorway and lets her eyes touch Clover's old bowl on the counter. Dirty, she says through her teeth. Then she looks down at Nala and aims the line at him so it can land on me. You smell as filthy as your owner. The microphone catches every word. Nala lowers his head. I write another line. Insult. Kitchen. Clear audio. The porch camera sends a new clip. Back door, open. A hand low to the floor. A wave that means, go. Go, someone says. Nala steps onto the mat and pauses. The camera sees the threshold, the step, the thin rain outside. The caller hears the door shut. I match the clocks without thinking. Exact. I mark the log, shooed to the porch. I keep walking. I do not text anyone. I do not let anger choose my feet. I let the day hold me up. I reach campus and take a picture of the board for the record. I buy a drink and keep the receipt. If anyone ever asks, the day will answer with me. Evening comes. I go home. Nala meets me with a small wag, a tired blink, a breath that wants to be steady. I kneel and press my forehead to his. Water first, then food, then a soft word. He settles. I start the work. I download the files, collar camera, porch camera. I do not cut them. I do not trim a second. I copy everything to a small drive and place it in a tin box. I name the folder with today's date in full words. I write the same entries by hand in my paper log. 2 places, 1 truth. Originals intact. Night is quiet. I play the 3 recordings once more with the volume low. The clang, the word dirty, the sentence you smell as filthy as your owner, the door opening, the push of air, the latch finding home. No music, no filters, only time in the corner and voices that carry their own weight. Morning, I take Nala to the vet. No drama, just care. There are faint scuffs on his front paw. His heart starts fast and then eases. The vet notes mild stress and tells me to watch him closely. I ask for a written summary. I take 2 careful photos of the small marks. I put the paper in a clear sleeve and save the images with the same date. Back home, I add a line to the log, vet visit, stress noted, minor marks documented. The sleeve goes next to the tin box. The next day, I repeat the same window. Same hours, same rule. Do not push, do not stage, come home if harm begins. 2 small alerts arrive. A snapped move. Another light clang when a foot finds the rim. I file them under reinforce the pattern. That is what this layer is for, not fireworks, foundation. By the day after, a modest rhythm appears. Not every hour, not every room, but enough to draw a thin line. Sound, word, door. I keep myself tight and calm. I eat, I sleep. I do not go hunting for more. I let the house talk at its own volume. Each evening I check Nala for new marks. If I see anything, I photograph it under the same light. If I worry, I book the vet again. Nala first, always. The plan ends if safety breaks. I keep that promise like a lock. I cut a short preview only for me. It lasts a breath under a minute. Clang, dirty, you smell as filthy as your owner. The door swinging wide. The porch in frame. Time visible in both corners. Subtitles plain and small. I do not send it. I keep it ready. The room will see it when the room is full. I sit at my desk and read the log from top to bottom. First clang, first insult, first shoot a porch, vet note. Smaller repeats. Every event paired with a place I was. Classroom, receipt, map, dot. No space for maybe. Only entries that can be checked by someone who does not love me. A quiet day arrives and stands there like it belongs. The target hour passes with nothing. My phone stays dark. The house feels polite in a way that makes my shoulders ache. Silence is not peace. It is a step back before a run. I lock the door and head for my afternoon class. I make it to the sidewalk and stop. Still nothing. I tell myself to breathe, to trust the line I drew. Low first, build the base. Let repetition do the talking. I take 3 more steps. The tone I set for the caller tears through my pocket. 1 alert, then another, then a third right behind it. The first preview opens by itself. The clang is bigger, closer, harsher than before. The porch camera icon shows live. The cloud status throbs like a light in fog. I stand on the curb and steady my hand. I look at the time in the corner. I hear my own voice in my head. Enough. I turn back toward the house. Cut to black. The tone in my pocket is sharp, urgent, not like the others. I stop, turn, and walk back toward the house. I let the system do its job while I breathe and keep my eyes on the corner clock. No rushing, no noise, just time, and the truth it holds. The first clip opens from Nala's collar. Low angle, tile, the leg of a chair. Brooke's shoe cuts through the frame and hits the stainless rim. The bowl explodes against the cabinet with a hard clang. Water skids across the floor. Out, she says. Short and flat, the way you would swat a fly. Nala flinches. The frame jitters and settles. The timestamp in the corner does not move from its line. Another alert. Vanessa arrives before her face does. Dirty, she breathes. Slow as if she likes the taste. Then the arrow she saves for me, thrown through my dog. You smell as filthy as your owner. Her tone is calm. The mic hears every word. The clock keeps counting the seconds that will not forgive. I reach the gate and the porch camera wakes live. Back door, open. A hand dips low and finds the leash. A short drag over tile, paws scraping. A small yelp swallowed by the room. Do not make a scene, a voice hisses. Just push him out. Another hand waves near the floor. Go. The door opens wider. The porch camera sees the mat, the step, the pale light outside. The caller hears the air change. Both clocks agree. Inside and outside speak the same minute. I hold under the eave and listen. I want the last piece, the part that turns a pattern into a confession. Vanessa looks up at Clover's old bowl on the counter. Something sharp lifts under her face. Last time She stops herself. Brooke answers with panic that trips on its own feet. Do not say throw here. Silence spreads a thin skin over the words, but the microphone does not blink. That is enough. I move. I open the door with a steady hand and call Nala by name. He comes to me in small steps. I lift the leash free and place my palm against his chest until the tremor eases. I do not look at them. I do not waste the moment with heat. Water first, space first, my room, my breath, my rules. Behind my door, I kneel and check him. A faint scrape on the front paw, warm skin, breath fast and then settling. I say the rule I gave myself, Nala first. And then I sit at the desk. I pull the files from the cloud and keep them whole. Collar camera, porch camera, the live buffer, no trimming, no filters. I copy everything to the small drive and shut the tin lid. I open my notebook and write the chain cleanly, the clang, the tug, the insult, the plan to push us both out, the slip about before, the warning not to say throw. I write the minutes in the rooms. I mark both angles. One afternoon that will not move. I play the sequence once to be sure my mind is not inventing what my eyes already know. From the collar, Brooke's foot, the blow that makes the sound no one can argue with. From the collar, Vanessa's mouth, words that strike him so they can strike me. From the collar, the leash pulled tight. The slide of paws over tile. From the porch, the door opened. The small drag over the threshold. The edge of the yard. From the collar, the plan spoken clear enough for paper. Kick the dog out, then kick her out. The house will be ours. From the collar, the careless start. Last time and the quick cover that proves it matters. Do not say throw here. There is no need for music. There is no need for color. The clock in the corner is the only score I want. I send a short note to the neighbor and ask if her doorbell camera caught the porch at that minute. She replies yes and shares the clip. It shows the same door, the same small pull, the same sliver of the threshold. I save it with the same date words as the others. Outside confirms inside. The line tightens, the net holds. I sit on the floor beside Nala and let my hand rest on his back until his breath forgets the hour. Thank you, I say without saying. He blinks and closes his eyes. When the house is quiet, I cut a short proof for me. It is not a trailer. It is a list that breathes. Clang, you smell as filthy as your owner. Kick the dog out, then kick her out. The house will be ours. Last time do not say throw here, door open, short drag. The time mark sits in both corners like a small, calm witness. I add a thin subtitle where the whisper drops. I leave the rest untouched. I place the file in a folder with a plain name and close the lid. I walk to the kitchen for water. Vanessa is there, folding a towel as if it were an award. She gives me a soft smile that photographs well. "How is class?" she asks. "Fine," I say. I let silence do what words would only soften. I leave the room. I leave her with the sink and the quiet that does not obey her. Morning comes. I take Nala out early. He watches birds and decides not to chase. I book another vet check and print my log pages. I will not be sloppy at the finish line. Near noon, the mail slot clicks. A white envelope slides onto the floor like a small slide of snow. I pick it up. The paper smells like perfume and glue. Inside is a card that wants to be kept. It is an invitation to Brooke's birthday. 20 years in bright letters that lean toward each other. Family will come, friends will come. The living room will turn into a room full of eyes. There will be a projector. There is always a projector when people want to be seen. I stand in the hall and feel the plan settle into its next shape. Not louder, just ready, a screen big enough for a clock in the corner, a crowd large enough to hear a whisper when it is played through speakers. A night where I do not have to say anything at all. I slide the card back into the envelope and breathe out. The files are safe. The log is clean, inside and outside match. The body that was hurt is here beside me and will not be left alone. I am not asking to be believed. I am asking them to watch. I sit at my desk and write the sentence that ends this chapter and opens the next. On her birthday, I will turn on the light. For Michael. For me. For the truth that refused to dim. The chance to expose them finally arrived. Brooke's birthday, 20 years. A bright card on the table, a room full of eyes. I told myself to keep it simple. I would guide the room and let the screen do the rest. I came early. I checked the cable, the speakers, the projector. I ran a 10-second sample. The timestamp sat clean in the corner. The sound was clear. My backup was in my bag. The log and the vet note waited in a clear sleeve. Nala stayed at home, safe, out of any noise. Guests poured in, laughter, perfume, glasses on plates. Vanessa floated from person to person, warm and smooth. Brooke glowed in the center. My father smiled too much and too fast. I kept to the edge and watched the room settle. The cake came out, candles flared and went dark. Applause rose and fell. I stepped forward and asked for a minute. "Just a few memories," I said. No one suspected anything. Someone dimmed the lamps. The screen woke up. The first clip opened from Nala's collar. Tile, a chair leg. The kitchen at dog height. A shoe cut through the frame and struck the stainless rim. The bowl slammed the cabinet with a hard clang. Water skidded out in a fan. "Out," Brooke said. Bored, sharp. The clock in the corner held steady. The room shifted a little, the way people do when they are not sure yet. I did not speak. The second clip rolled. Vanessa's voice arrived before her face. "Dirty," she breathed. Then the line she throws through the dog so it hits me. "You smell as filthy as your owner." No one laughed. Chairs creaked. My father turned toward her without meaning to. I kept my eyes on the time mark. The third clip moved in on its own. A hand dipped to the leash. A pull, short and hard. Paws scraped 2 steps over tile. "Do not make a scene," a voice hissed. "Just push him out." The porch camera picked up the same moment from outside. Back door open, the mat, the threshold, the pale evening air. 2 clocks agreed. Inside matched outside. I let the room feel that. Breath slowed, glasses stopped moving. I brought in the next piece. Vanessa looked at Clover's old bowl on the counter. "Last time She stopped herself. Brooke spoke too fast. "Do not say throw here." The subtitle was small. The audio did not need help. A quiet drop fell through the room. Vanessa tried a smile. "This is edited," she said. I did not argue. I put the 2 angles side by side. The same minute, the same door, the same pull at dog height. I showed the log page in the corner, place, hour, where I was while the clips recorded. I lifted the vet note without a speech. I let paper be paper. Murmurs grew and then thinned. My father stared at the screen the way people stare at a road sign when they realize they missed a turn. Brooke held her jaw tight and looked anywhere but the image. Vanessa's hands fixed a stack of napkins that did not need fixing. I kept my voice calm. The audio is original, I said. The uploads happen as they are made, nothing spliced, nothing moved. If anyone wants to watch again, we can watch again. If anyone needs the outside angle alone, I can show it alone. I am not in a hurry. We have time. Someone asked if Nala was here. No, I said. He is at home. He does not have to stand in this room to carry this weight. That is my job. Brooke reached toward the cable. I stepped between her hand and the table without touching her. We are still playing, I said. We can let it finish. No one told her to stop. The projector hummed. The clip looped back to the clang. Vanessa tried again. It was a misunderstanding. Play that looked rough on camera. The porch angle answered before I did. Door open, leash tight, step crossed. No edit would create the same minute from two places. The clock in each corner kept beating like a small drum. I did not raise my tone. I did not list every slight. I did not say what the rain had whispered to me in the yard. I only said this. I am not asking you to believe me. I am asking you to watch. The room watched. A cousin covered her mouth. An aunt shook her head. A friend of Brooke's took a step back like the floor had moved. My father's face fell into a quiet I knew from childhood, but had not seen in years. He kept looking at the words "do not say," "throw here." He understood the part that sentence tried to hide. I closed the file and left the screen on the final frame. 2 images, 2 clocks. A door that could not lie for them. Silence stayed. No one reached for the music. I thanked everyone for watching. If anyone wanted a copy, I said. The originals were safe and dated. I could share them with people who needed to see, including those who protect animals and the people who enforce the law. I did not make a threat. I set a path. The host set fresh invitations on the gift table for late guests. The cards shone under the lamp. Brooke's name curled across the top in gold. No one moved to pick one up. The cake waited under its cooling candles. The party had become a hearing. I packed the laptop. I slipped the sleeve with the log and the vet note back into my bag. I felt my hands steady. I had kept my rules. I had kept my promise. Clover could not stay. Nala trusted me now. The truth had stood up in front of everyone and kept standing. I told the room one last line. If you need to see it again, I will show it again. If you need to talk to me after, I will be in the hall. Then I stepped away so people could face each other without me in the middle. I walked out to the cooler air by the doorway. My phone was quiet. My breath was even. Behind me, the projector kept its small hum. The screen held the still image like a simple fact. Tonight, I did not argue. I did not beg. I turned on the light and let it stay on. The projector went dark, but the room did not feel like a party anymore. Vanessa's smile fell first. Then her voice sharpened. Edited, she said. Cruel. Brooke added. You tried to humiliate me. I did not argue. The clips kept their own shape. Original audio, time in the corner, an outside angle that matched the inside. I said only that. Then I stepped back and let the silence do the rest. My father said my name very quietly. His eyes were careful, like someone carrying a glass that is too full. I need to see it again, he said. Just us. I nodded. Tomorrow morning, our kitchen table, Nala will stay in my room, safe. He nodded once as if that helped him hold on. Vanessa tried one more pass. You are tearing this family apart. I kept my voice level. The video keeps its original sound. The clock is visible. There is a second angle. Believe it or not, it does not change what happened. Brooke whispered at me as I left the room. You will regret this. I did not answer. I had already chosen the next door. Morning in our kitchen felt smaller than usual. No music, no TV, just the low hum of the fridge and the breath of someone who did not sleep. I placed the drive on the table. My father asked if he could handle it himself. Of course I can, I said. He needed his own hands on it. He plugged it in and opened the folder. He held the mouse like it might break. He pressed play. From Nala's collar, the tile appeared. The chair leg. Then Brooke's shoe cut the frame and hit the stainless rim. The clang made him flinch. He paused and backed up a few seconds. He watched again. He moved to the next clip. Vanessa's voice arrived before her face. Dirty, she breathed. You smell as filthy as your owner. My father looked at me without moving his head. He did not speak. He pressed play again from the start of the sentence and watched it land a second time. He clicked forward. A hand dipped to the leash. A short drag. Paws skidding over tile. Do not make a scene. Just push him out. He swallowed and switched to the porch angle. The back door opened. The mat. The threshold. The pale air beyond. He lined the 2 time marks with his eyes and held them there. He did not need help. He understood the clocks. He let the next clip run. Vanessa looked at Clover's old bowl on the counter and her mouth moved faster than her caution. Last time I... Then Brooke's voice trying to pull it back. Do not say throw here. My father stopped. He dragged the line back and listened again. He dragged it back once more. He sat very still. Where were you at this time? He asked. At class, I said. I showed him a photo of the board and a small receipt. He did not check further. He believed the ordinary shape of my day. He pressed play from the beginning and let the clips run in order without touching the mouse. When it ended, he kept looking at the blank screen. His hands were clasped but not tight. He spoke like someone thinking out loud. The glass under your rug. The dress that went pink. The gate that kept opening. I nodded. It was not just the dog, he said. It was you, all this time. I chose to be quiet until I had the clock and the angles, I said. His eyes filled fast and did not spill. I am sorry, Ka, he said. I should have seen. I told him we were here now. He put his hand over mine and left it there. The kitchen door pushed open. Vanessa stepped in with Brooke behind her. She did not look at the chair for permission. This is manipulation, she said. You are letting her poison this house. Brooke's voice tried to sound brave and landed hard. It was a joke. You are making it criminal. My father did not raise his voice. He pressed play and pointed at the screen. Be quiet, he said. Let me listen, the line came again. Kick the dog out, then kick her out. The house will be ours. Then the slip. Last time then the warning. Do not say throw here. Brooke stared at the floor. Vanessa's mouth opened and shut like a door that had lost its latch. My father did not look at them. He watched the corner where the clock kept time for all of us. When the clip ended, Vanessa went on the attack once more. Everyone knows videos can be staged. My father shook his head once. He did not lecture. He pressed play again. The room listened to the room on the screen. I said what I needed to say, and nothing more. I have reported the abuse to animal control. I sent the description and the links to the videos. They will contact us to take a full statement. My father nodded. Nala stays with you, he said. No one touches him. I told him that was already the rule. Nala first. Everything else after. Vanessa gathered words that had nowhere to go and left the kitchen. Brooke followed with her eyes on the wall. The house was quiet again. My father leaned back and looked older and clearer at the same time. He turned his palm up and I placed my hand in it. I am sorry, he said again, for not protecting you sooner. I did not let him sink. You are protecting us now. I checked on Nala. He lifted his head from the bed and stretched until his toes clicked. I rubbed the spot between his eyes and felt the day settle. The plan was no longer a plan. It had become a record other people had to carry too. Back at the table, my father asked one more question. What do you need from me today? I kept it simple. Stay calm, keep the house quiet. Let the calls come through the proper door. He said he could do that. He said he would. My phone buzzed on the counter. A new email slid onto the screen. The subject line was short and official. Animal Control acknowledged receipt of the report and requested a time to take a full statement. I read it once and felt my breath go steady. I told my father we had been heard. He closed his eyes and let the truth settle where it needed to. This time, it would not be a living room. This time, it would be a real room with notes and forms and names. I put the drive back in my pocket. I looked at the clock on the wall. I thought of Clover and of the promise I made in the rain. Then I said what came next. We wait for their call, and we keep Nala safe. The rest will be said under a brighter light. They called us in on a gray morning, early, quiet streets. A building that smelled like paper and coffee. I held Nala's collar in my pocket like a small anchor. My father walked at my side and did not try to talk me out of anything. We were past that. The interview was patient and clean. They asked for the story, and I gave them time and place and the clips that did not blink. No speeches, only what the screen already said. When we left, my father's shoulders looked a little lower, as if he had put something heavy down where it belonged. Weeks folded into each other. There were calls, short and careful. There were rooms with low ceilings where people wrote down what I said. There were pauses that felt longer than clocks. I fed Nala, I checked his paws. We walked at dusk when the air is kind. Then the day arrived when a judge read words that do not need music. The room had the shape of an ending. The clips played once, not for shock, for certainty. Inside view, outside view, the sentence that tried to hide and could not. No one argued with the clock. They found Vanessa guilty of cruelty to an animal. Not a mistake, not a joke, cruelty. The court gave her time in custody and a fine she would feel, mandatory counseling, money to cover the vet and care, a long ban from owning or handling animals, long enough to matter, a no-contact order that kept her from me and from Nala. She stood very straight as if posture could fix meaning. It could not. They found Brooke guilty too, but lighter. Not the mastermind, not the hand that started it all, still the foot that struck and the voice that pushed. She got probation and community service at a shelter that does not let people look away. Counseling for anger. A ban from owning animals for years. She nodded without seeing the floor. Outside the courthouse, the air felt new and thin. Reporters asked for a line. I said I was grateful the system listened. I said I hoped the ban would protect other animals. I did not say anything about hate or victory. I did not need to. My father began his part the same week. He filed for divorce with a steady hand. He asked for the house to be quiet and safe. He asked for the court to keep distance between what hurt us and where we sleep. He moved through the forms like a person who had learned the language of consequence. He did not look back. At home, rooms sounded different. No slammed doors, no hush that carried a threat. Only ordinary noises, running water, a kettle, claws on tile when Nala stretched. I kept the cameras off. They had done their job. I let the house be a house again. Campus shifted too. People who stayed close, stayed closer. People who laughed behind screens, learned how to be quiet in front of a clock. Brooke's friends thinned out. Some sent apologies with too many words. I answered the ones that felt like work, not performance. I let the rest pass through me without catching. One evening, my father asked if I wanted company in the yard. We stood by Clover's small hill. I pressed his bone-shaped tag into the soil, the way you press a promise into a page. I told him we did it. Not loudly, not proudly, just true. I told him Nala was safe and had a bed by the door. My father said he was sorry again, and this time the word did not lean on anything. It stood up by itself. Revenge had sounded hot when I said it in the rain. What I felt now was not heat. It was space. A room cleared of lies, a door propped open for air. Relief came in small minutes. Making tea, hearing the soft thud of a nap on the rug, waking up and not listening for trouble first. I put the last drive and the printed log into a box with a plain lid. I added Clover's old tag and closed it. Operation Lantern did not need a page anymore. It had become a fact other people had to carry too. I slid the box to the back of the closet and let it rest there. Vanessa left town after the orders were signed. No animals in her apartment. No visits near our street. Brooke kept her head down at school and served her hours at the shelter. I heard she learned how to clean bowls the right way, how to stand still until a frightened dog decided to come forward. Maybe that is something. Maybe consequence is a teacher with a quiet voice. At night, I still hear the clang in my mind sometimes. It arrives like thunder far away. When it does, I put my hand on Nala's back and count his slow breaths. The noise fades. The room stays. On the day the divorce papers were filed, my father placed a spare key on the counter. He said the house is ours to make gentle. He said he wants light without anyone having to prove that it is on. I believed him. He had learned what the clock in the corner meant. I sit now at the kitchen table where he watched everything from start to finish. Nala is at my feet, warm and certain. Rain touches the window but does not ask to be a symbol. I do not need symbols. I have outcomes. They were held to account for what they did to a dog and to a daughter. The court drew a line and kept it. My father closed a door that had to close. I kept my promise from the yard. Tonight I will sleep with the lights off. Not because I'm brave, because I do not need to stand guard against the truth anymore.